right, fam. So it's that time of year where we need to start thinking a little bit about fall gardening. All right. So we're not sure exactly when we're gonna have fall weather, but it's better to be prepared than not, right? So my wife has already dropped some seeds to all the stuff we plan on growing in our fall garden, our brassicas. All right. So it depends on Mother Nature whether she cooperates on us with us when it comes to planting our brassicas. Of course, it's hot and the bugs are still here, so we're gonna have to do the things that's necessary to keep them safe until the weather starts to cool off a little bit and the bugs start to dissipate. All right. So we have some new ground that we're thinking about gardening in, and we have some ground that I already prepared. But what I did not do is cover that ground when I was finished with it, and now I have a lot of weeds. Means I have a lot of work. So I'm gonna get out here and I'm gonna try to get this ground ready, and by the time our seedlings get nice and strong, hopefully our ground will be ready to go ahead and drop them in. I do have a couple of new garden beds that I'm gonna try out, so I'm looking forward to that, that means I'm gonna need a lot of soil. I'm gonna need all kind of stuff. All right. So I got a lot to do to get prepared, but luckily for us, we have a lot of time because here, no telling when our weather is gonna cool off. You know, that's good and bad. You know, I don't want it to cool off too soon because I got bananas on my trees. I want to get some on, right? So the longer the weather stay warm, the longer I get to let my bananas stay and get ripe. So, but the longer it actually stay warm, the harder time I'm gonna have with my brassicas trying to keep them alive and keep the bugs away from them. All right, so I'm gonna bring y'all along with me while I try to clean up this little gardening area so we can get our brassicas going when it's time. All right, so let's go. So as y'all can see over here, my wife jicama is doing really well in this large pot. We already grew a bunch of jicama earlier this season, and my wife decided she was going to drop some more seeds, and I'm glad she did because jicama is absolutely delicious. We just found jicama for the first time last year, and I think we can't do without them now. So if you haven't tried jicama, you must do it. All right, guys, so our cowpeas are still producing. You know, I like to say they are falling back just a little bit, but they're really not. They still are producing pretty strong. We have got us at least a gallon and a half bag full of peas. So that's pretty good, you know, and these things are absolutely delicious fresh. You know, just opening them up and eating them off the bush is good, you know. So cooking them, I can't wait to put them with some neck bones, you know, something of that sort, some smoked neck bones, and cook them down. Oh my goodness, I think those will be amazing. All right, guys, we're over here in the watermelon patch. All right, and we do have a watermelon that need to be harvested, so we decided we're just going to bring y'all along with us while we go ahead and harvest our watermelon. All right, so it's been a rough year for watermelon for us. You know, it's been crazy. It's been a lot of hot 100-degree weather, and then we have a storm that just dumped a whole bunch of rain. So we haven't had the best luck, but we do have a nice one. So we're gonna go ahead and let y'all see us harvest this pretty watermelon. No, go to this one. All right. All right, fam. So this is our watermelon. It's a little oddly shaped, but I'm sure it's gonna be delicious. I know it's right because the tentacle is gone, and oh yeah. So we're glad to have this. We're gonna go ahead and eat this today. And we got a couple more that we're waiting to get ready. All right, fam. So we're gonna try this again. All right. I tried to go ahead and get this ground prepared, but the weather just wasn't cooperating. It was way too uncomfortable, but this morning it is 73 degrees. That is excellent. And it's the perfect temperature for me to get out here and go ahead and complete what I was planning on doing, which is extending the garden and cleaning up some of the existing garden. All right, so my wife already got the starts going, and all I have to do is get the ground ready, so whenever the starts are ready, they can go in the ground. I have a lot of work to do, so let's get it. All right, fam, so if I can give you one piece of advice, stay up on your gardening. All right, it takes very little time for your garden to get to what you saw mine looking like. All right, so this was probably skipping a couple of weekends, couple of weeks, or a couple of weekends, and your yard can go crazy in that amount of time. Get some rain, give it some sun, and the weeds will do their thing. All right, so by coming out here and tending to your garden at least every other day, but every day as possible, will relieve you of that. You know, whenever you see a weed start popping out, go ahead and remove it. It's easy at that time. Once they go crazy, it can be a little bit intimidating. So make sure you stay up on it so you don't get discouraged in your growing. So we do get messages all the time from new growers or people who want to start growing, and they want to know some advice on how to get started. And if I was to give you any advice, and this is your very first time, you're brand new, start small. Start slow, because what we don't want to do is overwhelm you and your garden not be enjoyable for you. Once you start slow and small, and you get down the small techniques that you need to be able to grow, you can actually move up just a little bit and continue on. So another piece of advice, if you're by yourself, that means you don't have any kids growing up, or your spouse is not into growing, or you don't have a spouse, definitely keep it manageable. All right, if you got a 9-to-5 and you want a garden, keep it manageable. It don't have to be big. Find something that you enjoy eating and concentrate on growing that. All right, so that's one less thing that you will actually ever have to buy, and something that you will enjoy that will actually taste way better than you can ever imagine it tasting out of a store. Do not try and do the big garden. Don't try to even do a decent sized garden. Get you a plot and grow. And once you got that handled and managed, if you want to, expand. And what I would do is actually get a crop, learn exactly when and how to grow it properly, and then find another one and do the same thing. Now you got two crops that you know how to grow properly, that you can actually grow at the same time, because you know exactly what you need to do with both of those plants to be able to get them to grow well. Do not try to go and get a whole bunch of things and throw them in the ground and then get discouraged because none of them won't work. You know, even different varieties of different things take different methods. So learn those methods. It's not hard to do. You know, you got all us content creators. We got Google. I mean, there's a lot of source of information, and just ask. If somebody is not willing to answer you because they feel like they're too above where you at, then that's not the person you should be talking to. Anybody that you talk to should be able to revert back to when they first started or what they didn't know and how to, you know, bring you along the way. All right, so it's not hard. It is not easy. It is enjoyable and it's rewarding. So that's what you're looking for. All right, so me and my wife, we can produce beautiful, I'm saying beautiful garden. It took a lot of work to get that garden to look that way, and then it takes a lot of work to maintain it. All right, so there's a whole lot of obstacles, more than I can go through in this, you know, on this video. But your soil, your fertilizers, your bugs, your location, your times of year. All these are things that you have to take into account when you actually growing your food. And being that we're in a location where the bugs are plentiful, and granted, I did not know everybody didn't have these bug problems, because when we go other places like, North Carolina, they do not have the bug issues that we have down south here. So, situations will differ. Different bugs, different situations. So my problems won't be your problems and vice versa. So getting information from a whole host of people or sources will serve you good. And weed out what you don't need. Take the meat, spit out the bones, right? So, that's pretty much it. One thing I say is most important is not to get discouraged. Don't think that anybody you see out here growing haven't had their ups and downs. Don't take it that these people that you see growing ain't had an ugly garden or weeds that went out of control, because we all have. And you might not know that. We might not tell you that. You might just see beautiful gardens harvesting beautiful vegetables and fruit, but the struggle was there, and it is real. You know what I mean? So make sure, you stay focused on your goal and know what you're here for, and do it in a way that's reasonable. It's not reasonable to go and dig up a whole half an acre, quarter acre, even, a 20 by 20 and never grown nothing before. It's not a reasonable thing, because you don't know what you're doing. You don't know if what you're growing at the right time. You don't know if you're growing it in the right soil type. You don't know if you're going to be able to supply it with the right amount of water and be able to keep it bug free. I mean, you don't know any of this stuff. Learn those things and then expand. A good 5 by 5, 10 by 10. Probably shouldn't be bad. You can manage that. You can mess that up and you can fix it easy. But don't try and do too much and then have to go back and figure out why you're not a good gardener. That don't mean you're not a good gardener. It means that you haven't learned all the steps that it takes to be successful at growing whatever it is you're trying to grow. We learn, every time we grow something new, we learn something new. And at no time will we make you believe that we are something super or better than you are, because you haven't got to this stage yet. We had to get there, and we had to get here, and you're going to have to get here too. Can you get lucky? You could. You could just throw some stuff down on the ground and it grows perfect. But that's not going to be everything, I guarantee you. And it might not be nothing. So, guys, make sure you set yourself up for success. We want everybody to try to grow their own groceries. So that's what we're trying to show you. This is what we're trying to inspire and let you know on the real. It ain't easy all the time. but it is. All right, fam. So we are somewhat finished with the weeding process of the new gardening area. You see over there, that's one of the old beds I got covered up, but we did have some weeding to do over there. Now, this is all of the weeds. This mountain of weeds. And as many of y'all know, that took a little bit of work. So, you know, don't get it twisted. It's some work out here, you know. It's rewarding, but never doubt that it takes work. Alright fam, so one of the ways we're planning on extending our garden is by using these round raised beds by Spiegel Garden. Alright, I never used any of this stuff before, I never put one together before, so we're going to do this together. Whoa. So one thing I can tell you, that is some heavy duty steel or metal. Alright fam, so after looking at the instructions, it sounds pretty simple. So basically all I want to do is lay these out. It's saying to remove this plastic from the inside. And each panel has this plastic on it. Alright, so the next step, there are some bolts that are used to connect these together. All right, fam. So here it is, our raised bed. Pretty simple to put together. Takes a little bit of time because there's a lot of screws. But it is very simple to put together. Man, woman, child shouldn't have an issue putting this together. And when I tell you guys this thing feels sturdy, it is strong steel. So I don't think I'm gonna have any issues with that. All right, fam, done. Pretty easy to do. A little time consuming because there are so many screws that goes in each section, but it is easy. Man, woman, or child can do this, no problem. It is made out of heavy duty steel. It has got a little weight to it. So, you know, guys, I mean, I say this is a go. All right, fam. So I have one of my beds filled with both wood chips, cardboard, and native soil. All right. So what I want to do now is get some compost and some garden soil, and I'm going to top it off. So I want my seeds or my starts to start off in some nice rich soil, and then be able to expand into more of the bed. But I want to definitely give them the best start off they can definitely get. So I'm gonna go get some good quality garden soil and some kind of compost, probably mushroom compost, and I want to get my beds going that way. We're in the big box store trying to find some soil and compost to finish up our beds. Alright, fam, so I have my new raised beds filled up. You know, I got them built, I got them covered because I'm not going to put anything in them right now. I don't want them to start growing in them, so I'm going to go ahead and cover them. I do have my other beds that I need to clean out and go ahead and get them ready. but it's going to be a couple of weeks. So I'm probably going to jump on that tomorrow as a tomorrow project. I'm about to get out here and I'm going to cut the grass, and I'm going to call it a day. I'm real happy with what we have accomplished, so we can grow a lot more this year. I'm hoping to be way more successful, which we've been doing pretty good, but doing better is always a thing. One thing I'm gonna have to work on is storage. Where am I gonna put all this food? Me and my wife have done such a good job of raising and growing a lot of our food that our freezer is completely maxed out, and we've been freeze drying as much of that as we can also, and that's good. But we definitely want to try to grow enough broccoli to last a little while. My wife loves broccoli and she could pretty much eat it every day. So if we can store it, we'll have it. And the way it tastes out of our garden is amazing. I'm in love with it out of our garden. The store, not so much. I can eat it, not crazy about it. They put sugar in that coming out the ground. I don't know, there's sugar or something in that. So it tastes way better. And so greens and cabbage, that takes up some space. While I don't want to grow as much greens, I want to grow more kohlrabi, because the cabbage tastes almost identical to kohlrabi to me once you cook it. And I like to cook with meat, so I use meat to flavor it, and it's a go. We tried kohlrabi for the first time last year, and I loved it. So I'm definitely gonna grow that again. We are gonna put some more corn in the ground. I don't know, it didn't do well during our warm part of our season, so I'm gonna try to put some down now and see if it actually does any better. Somebody said it does better in a little cooler climate. I don't know. We're gonna see. Never had much success with corn. I got all my rabbits, put them in the freezer camp. I'm happy about that. So many chores I was backed up on. As you know, me and my wife, we kind of been running here and there and running there, and some things got left on the back burner, and I had to do some catch up. My mind was going crazy because I didn't know where to start and how I was going to get it all done, but I finally got to a point where I feel like we are on the even playing field. So all I got to do is keep things up from now on, and we should be good. It's probably not going to happen, but sounds good anyway. Alright fam, so I have both of my beds as full as I want them. Alright, this is some beautiful looking soil, nice and loomy and rich looking. And what I like about it is the fact that there's no big pieces of wood that you will find in so much compost today. It's nice and fluffy and soily, if that's a word. But I'm excited to see exactly how this do. I am gonna supplement this with both some bone meal and blood meal when I put my plants in, and that's gonna probably be a couple of weeks or so. I'm gonna try to monitor the weather a little bit. I don't want it to be too warm for too long once I put my brassicas down. And I also got to clean out my other beds. Guys, I appreciate y'all for joining me. I'm gonna go out here and cut this grass, and I'm gonna rest my nerves. Y'all have a blessed day, week, month, year. Know that we're here. If you have any questions, hit us up. Till the next time, guys.